We'll chant Omkara. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
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 ओम नमः शिवाय।
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 गुरु ब्रह्मा
गुरु ब्रह्मा
गुरु विष्णु
गुरु विष्णु
गुरुदेवो
गुरुदेवो
महेश्वरः
महेश्वरः
गुरु साक्षात्
गुरु साक्षात्
परब्रह्म
परब्रह्म
तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः।
गुरवे नमः।
ज्ञानमूलं गुरोर्मूर्तिः
गुरोर्मूर्तिः
पूजामूलं गुरोर्पदं मंत्रमूलं गुरोर्वाक्यं मोक्षमूलं गुरुकृपा हरिः ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम। My pranams to all Atma Jyotis, divine light of the self. Today onwards we will take up Brahmasutra. We started with the Bhagavad Gita, Shiva Sutra. Then we completed some of the Upanishads. Aitareya Upanishad is pending. We will take up that later. Today onwards we will take up Brahmasutra. What is Brahmasutra? The teaching of this subject will take about 1.5 years, more than 1.5 years. In earlier days, the learning or teaching has to happen from Guru to Shishya. The only means of communication was oral. Of course, there was some written communication, but those written in the days when printing was not there. Very few hand scripted manuals are available. Writing is rare. Communication through words is more. To remember any subject, the communication has to be crisp, clear, concise. Right? So this communication about Brahman or teachings of Upanishad in a summarized way is called Brahmasutra. The sutras are there Yoga Sutra is there. Teaching of all yoga is summarized as Yoga Sutra. Teaching of Shiva is summarized as Shiva Sutra. Okay. Then there is a teaching of Nyaya Shastra is called Nyaya Sutra. Like that, any teaching which is summarized and concise is called Sutra. Sutra is, in a say, thread. In other words, it's a formula. So it's easy to remember because it's very concise. It contains the information or teaching in a very concise way and precise way. It can be passed on from one generation to other generation much more easily because it's crisp. Right? So that's why it's called Sutra. The danger of a sutra or difficulty which you find in a sutra is from one generation to other generation it is passed on. The sutra has to be expanded. The formula has to be expanded to understand. The formula is concise. It has to be expanded to understand the meaning. Right? So imagine few thousand years of teaching. Every generation passes on the sutra properly, but the understanding also has to be passed on. Understanding is much wider than just sutra. So what is the original understanding and what is passed on to you as understanding? Is it one and the same? Are they different? What is the sanctity of understanding which is passed on to you? Imagine 10,000 years of teaching passed on in the form of about 565 sutras. Very precise and concise. The understanding of that sutra is not inbuilt into sutra. Understanding of the sutra has to be learned from somebody who has understood it. So that's where the difficulty is. Then that's why there are many bhashyakaras or who wrote commentary on the sutras. Sutra itself gives the information, transmits the information, but the explanation requires somebody to interpret it. So these people who interpret sutra or commented on sutra are called Sutra Bhashyakaras. Brahmasutra, the theme of Brahmasutra is Brahman, the Supreme Reality. What is Supreme Reality? What is not Supreme Reality? What is the way to attain that Supreme Reality? And what is the effect of attaining the Supreme Reality? This is the topic of Brahmasutra. Where does the Brahmasutra pick up the subject matter from? The subject matter for Brahmasutra is Upanishads. Upanishads are the realization of various rishis. We have studied Kena Upanishad, Kathopanishad, Prashnopanishad, Shvetashvara, and many Upanishads we have studied. Now these are teaching of realization of various rishis. That is recorded as Upanishad. The summary of teachings of Upanishad is recorded as Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is the summary of teaching of Upanishads. Teaching of Upanishad depends on the Rishi. Shvetashvara Rishi, what he realized, he tells in the Shvetashvara Upanishad. Mandukya Rishi, what he realized, he teaches the Mandukya Upanishad. Like that, the realization of various rishis is explained in Upanishads. The essence of their teaching is explained in the form of Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads together form the foundation of the spiritual teachings. Upanishads are the original realization of rishis. Bhagavad Gita is summary of the Upanishads of realization of Upanishads. Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna taught Bhagavad Gita, but he didn't teach anything new. Nothing new was taught by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Everything what Sri Krishna taught in Bhagavad Gita is essence of Upanishads. So Upanishad is the foundation. When you study Upanishads, there are various ways rishis explain their realization. Different viewpoints, different ways they explain the realization. A person who studies the Upanishad can get confused by different explanation, because realization is same but explained by different rishis at different points of time. One subject explained by different teachers, different masters at different points of time with different examples can confuse a person who studies. What Sri Krishna did, took the teaching of Upanishad and taught Arjuna Bhagavad Gita to remove the confusion in his mind and prepare him for real action what is required in life. Sri Krishna did not teach anything new in Upanishad, in Bhagavad Gita. Sri Vedavyasa, who compiled Upanishads, Vedavyasa Rishi also didn't write Upanishads. He compiled Upanishads, which are teachings, ancient teachings, to reduce the confusion which can arise in the mind of a student. Composed the teachings of Upanishad in a systematic order. So that systematic order is called Brahmasutra. In an orderly way, the teachings of Upanishad is presented. So it is not, Brahmasutra doesn't teach anything new. Again, Brahmasutra refers to Upanishads. Upanishad teaching is in a very orderly way. So, in essence, the whole of spiritual teaching in India is called Upanishad. Okay. Summary of Upanishad is Bhagavad Gita. A systematic exposition of teachings of Upanishads is called Brahmasutra. So Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita and Brahmasutra, so these three together form the foundation of spiritual learning or education anybody has to go through. These are called Prasthana Traya, or three canons of spiritual education. Today we are taking up Brahmasutra, which will be actually about 1.5 years of teaching. I am taking Brahmasutra because we took up Bhagavad Gita, we took a couple of teachings of Upanishad, we have taken a couple of teachings of Yoga Shastra, we have taken the teachings of a couple of Shiva Sutra. So I am taking up Brahmasutra today to give a different flavor to your understanding. So it is prescribed that everybody have to go through the study of these texts at least 3 times in their lifetime. This is the real sadhana. First time they have to study under the guidance of the master. Second time they have to do self-study. The third time they have to teach, at least. So these 3 studies you have to complete in one lifetime. Then your life is considered as fruitful. Then you have completed spiritual education. So I am completing my my first round. Okay, I'll do one more round also. That's okay. But this is my first round completion. Study from the master, self-study, then teaching. So this is the third round I am completing. With this, it's called one round of sadhana is complete.
We are with you, no, Master. So, 1 hour.
Okay. So, as I told you, Brahmasutra consists of concise and precise wordings or formulae to remember and understanding and contemplate on teachings of Upanishad. Okay. That is made precise and concise because from generation to generation you have to pass it on. But then generation to generation there is again explanation is required because that formula itself is not, you cannot understand. So that's why various Sutrakaras, Bhashyakaras have written commentary on Brahmasutra. All the great Acharyas, Sri Shankara, Madhva, Ramanuja, Nimbarka, so many Acharyas have written commentary on Brahmasutra. To qualify somebody as Acharya, yes, the Acharyas have to write commentary on Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita and Brahmasutra. Otherwise, people don't take them seriously in India because these three together represent the total of spiritual literature. So all the Acharyas have written commentary on that. There is one special commentary, it's called Bhamati. It is the only commentary. I think there must be 40-50 commentaries on Brahmasutra. Each of them propound, each of them give the viewpoint of respective acharyas with respect to Upanishad. Sri Shankaracharya's commentary obviously will be in the light of Advaita philosophy which he propounded. Similarly, Sri Madhvacharya's commentary will be based on Dvaita philosophy. Sri Ramanuja's commentary will be based on the Vishishtadvaita philosophy. So now, this is a philosophy. But what is the essence? What is the truth? That you have to find out. There are many viewpoints are given. Ultimately, these viewpoints you can receive, you can contemplate, and then what you realize is what is your relation. Okay? These are there as guidelines for you. Ultimately, it is you who have to internalize this, understand this, and realize what is the essence of Upanishads. The philosophies, the Brahmasutra, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads can only show you the way. Ultimately, you have to internalize that and realize the truth. Map can show the territory. Map can show Switzerland, Africa, England, America. But ultimately map is useless unless you go there and see the country. Map is not the territory, map shows the territory. So Upanishads, Brahmasutra, Bhagavad Gita point out to the reality. The commentary of Acharyas also points to the reality. Finally, which one of these true? Is Dvaita true? Is Advaita true? Vishishtadvaita true?
We have
Who are you to decide?
understand and accept.
So, it is ultimately you have to take that, you have to contemplate on that, you have to realize ultimately what you realize is yours. Okay. I'm here. No, I'm not here to say this commentary is right, this commentary is wrong. Okay, that's not possible for me, or not for anybody. There are people who comment on this commentary is right, this is wrong. There is a perpetual debate goes on. Who am I to comment or judge what is written by various masters? I can only teach based on my understanding of what I realized. Right? Of course, I'll take the help of some different commentaries, but I'll also explain with reference to, with my understanding, my realization, what I had based on this text. So in a sense, what I teach will also have my own flavor, which is different from the flavor which you find in the text. I have spent enough number of years on sadhana, contemplation, meditation. I bring my own understanding and flavor to this. You don't have to take what I said is also true. It's only viewpoint, different viewpoints. This is also one viewpoint. Okay. Many Upanishads, many Brahmasutra teachings have their own commentary. Given by the Madhva Bhasha, it's called Madhva Bhasha. It's called Madhvacharya's commentary is called Madhva Bhasha, Ramanuja Bhasha, Shankara Bhasha. There's one commentary in the name of a lady called Bhamati, which is special. There's only one commentary with the name of a lady called Bhamati. Bhamati was the wife of Vachaspati Mishra. Vachaspati Mishra got married, and on the day of the, actually when he was getting married, he had decided he'll write the commentary on the Brahmasutra. After marriage, he started writing on the commentary of Brahmasutra. He was so intensely involved in that, so was deeply engrossed in writing commentary. Nothing else he was not giving attention to anything. He forgot that he got married. He forgot that he has a wife. Every day the wife used to come, keep food in front of him. He used to take food. He used to light lamp. He never saw his wife.
He used to eat.
He used to eat. Right? He forgot everything. And it took almost 12 years for him to complete the commentary on Brahmasutra. The day he completed the commentary, he felt very happy. He bowed down to the text which he has written. Then he saw one lady coming in front of him. He asked her, "Who are you?" That lady said, "I am Bhavati, your wife. The last 12 years I have been taking care of you." Then he said, "It's too late." Before starting the commentary on Bhagavad Gita, he had taken a vow that he will take sannyasa after he commenced the Brahmasutra. After he completed the sutra, Brahmasutra. So, I am taking sannyasa now. Okay? But in honor of you who has helped me to write this commentary, with your selfless service for 12 years, this commentary will be known as Bhamati. That's why only one commentary of Bhagavad Gita is in the name of a lady called Bhamati. So, this is the background about Brahmasutra. Brahmasutra is very intense, not a light topic, not a light text. If you read any commentary available on Brahmasutra today, it will be mind-boggling. fairly complex. Arguments, counter arguments are there. In other words, it is beyond the reach of common mortals, practically. Very, very complex set of arguments, counter arguments are there. I'll try to make the teachings simpler to the extent of possible, my capability, so that the teaching of Brahmasutra becomes easier. My intention is to make Brahmasutra available in a understandable form to people. That is the purpose of teaching. Otherwise, most of the Indians, most of the people who follow Sanatana Dharma, they are not in a position to understand and comprehend Brahmasutra because of the complexity of various arguments which are there in that. So, any questions?
So, what is the purpose of to write that sutra?
The purpose of writing sutra is there are realizations of different rishis, right, which is considered as authentic, which is considered as the foundation of spiritual teachings. Now, a person who reads or understands these teachings can get confused because there are multiple viewpoints are explained. So, to sort out all those confusions, to present the matter in a comprehensible way, okay, is the purpose of Brahmasutra teaching. Then there are also opposing philosophies which may not be in tune with the original teachings of Brahmasutra. So to bring out such philosophy and say this is the original purport of Brahmasutra, teaching of Upanishad is the purpose of Brahmasutra.
But all these philosophies again, they thought of their own version of Brahmasutra.
Correct. That's right.
So it defeats the purpose, right?
It doesn't defeat the purpose. See, the whole point is, it's something like this. Okay. To run a government, one elected party is required, majority. Okay. So now, should there be opposition party at all? If there is no opposition party, the government itself becomes corrupt. Opposition party also have a role to play. What is the role to play? So they will bring out certain questions. They will question certain things. They will try to point out errors or wrong doings of the ruling party. So the opposition itself should be taken as a complementary to the main theme. So multiple viewpoints should be considered as a trigger to look into the main theme and see what is the essence. The viewpoint expressed by different Bhashyakaras ultimately will help you to probe you, question you, to inquire deeper. That's how it should be. Ultimate, what is Brahmasutra is your realization. These viewpoints provide a trigger point, a question mark, a different way of looking at things. Finally, you have to, there is no single answer for this. Ultimately, the answer which you get is the answer. So, but then these will point to opposing viewpoints, Dvaita, Advaita, Vishishtadvaita. They provide you the means of inquiring. They provide you fresh viewpoints. Ultimately, what you realize is yours.
When you say Brahman, it is supposed to be absolute. So, if there are different viewpoints, then it doesn't qualify as absolute anymore. Right? I mean, how can there be two perspectives?
That will take away the first sutra itself. Right? It's okay? Any questions? Om अथातो ब्रह्म जिज्ञासा ओम atha means now, ato means therefore, let us understand Brahman, let us inquire into the nature of Brahman and understand. This is the sutra. Atha Brahma Jignasa Om. So first question comes, for whom is this subject? Who should study this subject? That whole answer is given in this fourth sloka. Why they should study? For whom should they study? And what is the result of this study? All this told in one line. Atha Ato Brahma Jignasa Om. That's the compact way the ancient people taught. So Atha means now. Now let us study about Brahman. Arey, why now? What now? What is special? Atha means now. Okay. So now you will study, means master is telling the student, let us study now. So what is the qualification of the student for studying this? Can anybody study Brahmasutra? Is it a topic available to you, anybody? Or are there any qualifications for studying Brahmasutra? So the master is telling the student, let us study now. That means the student has certain qualification. What is the qualification required to study Brahmasutra? So somebody may say Brahmasutra or Upanishad is a concluding part of Veda. The Vedic teachings consisting of Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharva Veda, they conclude with the Upanishad. So what is there in the Vedic teaching? There is a first part of Vedic teachings, there is called Karma Kanda, then this is called Jnana Kanda. Karma Kanda teaches various forms of yajna, worship which you have to do. All those things are taught in Karma Kanda. You, by doing this yajna, this phala will come to you. By doing this yajna, this result will come to you. If you want a child, do this. If you want to go to heaven, do this ritual. Perform this yajna. These are things which are taught in the Karma Kanda portion of Veda. So, since we are studying about Jnana Kanda portion of Veda, the first question comes, should I study all the Vedas before I study Brahmasutra? Should I have studied all the Vedas before I study Brahmasutra? Is it required to study all the Vedas for Brahmasutra? The answer is no. There are people who study for 10 years, 12 years in Vedas, right? It's not an easy subject. The chanting of Veda has to be done in a precise way. The performance of ritual has to be done in a precise way. A Vedic scholar has to go through certain rigorous process before he can at least chant Veda. Understanding Veda and all is a long way. So the question comes now, should I study Vedas before I take up Brahmasutra? The answer is no. Because Brahmasutra is of the nature of jnana, wisdom. Right? Karma Kanda of the Veda is of the nature of action. Action oriented part, ritual oriented part is called Karma Kanda. The wisdom oriented part is called Jnana Kanda. To go to the wisdom, it is not necessary that you have to perform action, karma kanda. Because Vedas themselves say the effect of the result of any karma is very limited. Phala is limited. Karma phala is limited. By doing that type of action, karma kanda, you did not go to jnana. Jnana can be direct. Okay. So those who are not studied Vedas don't have to worry that you are going to study Vedas. Okay. Then there are certain restrictions for the people who study Vedas. This type of person can study Veda, this type of person cannot study Veda. Right? So is there such a restriction for this jnana? Okay. There is no such restriction for jnana, because jnana is there for somebody who can receive it. But to receive the jnana, there should be qualification. If you are teaching to somebody, can he receive it? Is it possible for him to receive it? Okay. So what is required for receiving the wisdom of Brahmasutra is a mental calmness, a purity of mind, an attitude of reception is required. That is true for any subject, right? If I have to study science, I have to have a basic knowledge of science, then I should be able to study. I have to have an ability to understand what the teacher says, and I should be in a position to receive the teaching. So what is the requirement for study of Veda, Brahmasutra? The requirement is same as the requirement which is given for study of Upanishad. What is that? It's called sadhana sampatti. Sampatti means the wealth. Sadhana sampatti means the wealth which is acquired through spiritual practices, for spiritual practices. What are they? Shama, Dama, Titiksha, Uparati, Shraddha, Samadhana, Mumukshatva. Shama means patience, Dama means mastery of sense organs, Titiksha means ability to withstand pain, Uparati, the mind always going to the higher consciousness, Shraddha is faith, Samadhana is a balanced state of mind, and more important, Mumukshatva means desire for liberation. If these qualities are there, then that person can study this. See, please understand here, these are all told as internal conditions, internal qualities. It doesn't tell about caste, it doesn't tell about community, it doesn't say it's male or female. Okay? It doesn't say whether you're literate or not literate, educated or uneducated. It only speaks of the inner qualities. Shama, Dama, Titiksha, Uparati, Shraddha, Samadhana, Mumukshatva. The desire for liberation. If these qualities are there, you can study this. Atha means one who has these qualities. Okay. Now the question comes, how does this come? Does this quality come from sky? Do I pick up these qualities from some market? How do you get these qualities?
Qualities come from sadhana.
So now, this is actually basic requirement. Then Sri Ramanujacharya says, these qualities will come when you follow karma kanda properly. It is not necessary that you have to study karma kanda, but you have to have certain practice in life, right? You have to have certain discipline in life. You have to do. You have to lead your life in a way such that you attain more and more purity in life. So, If you have done rituals which are followed in Vedas, okay, you did some yajna for getting children, you did yajna for success, you did yajna for going to heaven, all those things you did through karma kanda. Then you realized that all these are limited. You did your life, you lived your life as per the Vedic prescription, and you understood the limitation of the phala of karma. Then you are ready, you are mature for going to Jnanakanda. This is what is the teaching of Sri Ramanujacharya. Sri Shankaracharya says, Shamadamati Diksha Upardi Shraddha Samadhana Mumukshutva is there, fine. Sri Ramanujacharya says, okay, to get that you need to have life, led your life properly. Are Baba, now none of us have studied Vedas. Okay, how do I follow karma kanda? So here then it comes, here then. So I would say in different way. For a modern man, somebody who has led his life with a faith in God, with whatever puja and rituals which he can perform, then he has become successful in life in various ways. He has attained success or failure in life. He has understood the limitation of success and failure. Then he is looking for going beyond success and failure. Such a person probably is qualified in the modern day world. Right? If you are seeking success, if your mind is stuck on achievements in life, probably this will not help you. Because unless you come to an understanding the limitation of those achievements, however great, however big it is, probably you will not be able to go beyond that. So in other words, I would say that a person should have led his life, performed dharmic duties which are prescribed to him. Dharmic duties based on his life, based on his profession, he has done well, done to the best of his ability, has the satisfaction of performing his duties to the best of his ability, has the satisfaction of achieving whatever reasonable success which he can achieve in life, or understood the failures in life, then understands there is something beyond this, that person is probably suitable for study of Brahmasutra. This is my addition, contribution to what Acharya has said. Applying it to modern day life. Right? If you apply the criteria that you have studied Vedas or you have done perform karma kandas, then hardly a small fraction of people will be available, which is not. That means this will be not available to most of the people. What I am saying is that a reasonable success, reasonable dharmic way of living you had in life. So you have achieved certain state of mind which has made you peaceful, not very disturbed, which you are ready to accept the higher teachings. Probably that's what is required. Then Sri Madhvacharya comes. He says, okay, all these things are fine. Even in there are different qualities of students. All the students will not receive the same way. Somebody has done karma kanda, followed karma kanda properly. Okay, somebody has done attained sadhana shamadama titiksha upar shraddha samadhana mumukshutva. But the inherent quality of student is not same. There are different grades of students. Right? Not all the students are alike. Do you think all the students who join a class are alike? There is a bright student, a middle, third class, right? Pass, those who fail. There are different categories of students, right? In life itself we see, in education like science and mathematics, we see there is different qualities of students. And these subjects are very gross subjects, very hardcore subjects. Here itself you can see there is a bright student, there is an average student, there is a failure student, right? So I have heard that there are many types of students. The brightest of the students go to engineering or medical, supposed to be. with the marks. Right? Some of the failed students who can't take up engineering, medical, they can become businessmen. Okay? Some of the bright students who are done engineering, medical, probably can take up IAS, administrative. Some of the failed students, they become they take up what? Business. Some of them who are successful in business or failed in business, they become politicians. Okay? So we have a controversy going on now. Our HRD minister is not qualified as a graduate. Right? So now what happens, these politicians rule the brightest students, the IAS, the businessmen, they boss over all these people. Right? In life, there is a different grade of understanding. The same teaching will apply, be understood by different people in different way. That's about a gross subject. And what about certain subject matter like spirituality or Vedanta and all? It requires a very fine mind to appreciate. So then there is a Uttamadhikari. The one who is has a very sharp, has the ability to understand, grasp the sharp mind to understand the truths. Then there is a Madhyamadhikari. Then there is a Adhamadhikari. Okay? So there is a lower class, the next level student. The same teaching, the same qualification they have gone through, but inherent capability of the students may be different. Then Sri Madhvacharya says, of all the students, all the types of students, in addition one qualification is required. That is deep devotion to Vishnu, the Lord. Bhakti. So, the devotion clubbed with the other qualities which are required is basic qualification required for study of Brahmasutra. This is meant by Atha. Now those who have this qualification can sit here. That is meant by Atha. Then that is called Atha. Atha. Huh? Ato. Ato means therefore. Why these people study Brahmasutra? Ato. Why you should study Brahmasutra? Ato means why you should study Brahmasutra is all Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita say the purpose of life is to attain moksha, liberation, mukti. The mukti is only possible with the Brahmadnana. The knowledge of Brahman only leads to mukti. Okay? Knowledge is required for liberation, mukti. Now this knowledge is a special kind of knowledge. What is this knowledge? It is not memorization of some texts. It is not memorization of some chantings. It comes from Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasa. You have to listen to the teachings of Brahman. You have to understand it, internalize it. Then you have to contemplate on that. Then you have to have realization. A jnana which is born out of Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasa is Brahmadnana. Brahmadnana leads to mukti. Without Brahmadnana, there is no mukti. So, Ato means to have a realization of Brahman. To attain Brahmadnana, this study has to be done. Ata Ato. Brahma Jitnasa. Now comes to your question. Understanding Brahman. Inquiry into the nature of Brahman. So here this problem comes. We can talk about anything. The communication can happen on a subject which is commonly known to each other. So you speak French, I speak German, or I speak Tamil and you speak Malayalam. Then what communication can happen between us? We can talk about anything only if there is a common understanding about something. Right? We can teach about a subject which is known. A subject which is not known, how can you teach? I'll tell you there is an animal called jiba in Africa. Neither you have seen nor I have seen. Okay? So what can we talk? What can we understand from that? So the essence of any communication is we can talk and understand about a subject which both people know. Now if you say, you don't, I know about Brahman, then what communication can happen? Right? If I say, you know about Brahman, I don't know about Brahman, is there communication possible of Brahmasutra? Right? This is one question. So both parties don't know, there is no communication. One party knows and other party doesn't know. Still it's not possible because I cannot make you understand something which you have never seen, something which you don't understand. Right? There is a third scenario. I and you know the subject. I know the subject, but you have a misunderstanding of subject that I can clarify. So Brahmatnana falls under which category? Both of us don't know, then no question about study. I know, you don't know, then there is no question of study. I know, you have a misunderstanding about it, then I can probably clarify. Okay? So which category do you think Brahmatnana falls into?
This category.
Third category. Brahmatnana is not a topic which is not unknown. It is known to everybody in some way. The teaching of Brahmasutra is only to clarify what you know. Remove misconceptions what you have. That is the teaching of Brahmatnana. So now let us understand how everybody knows about Brahmatnana. I don't know about Brahmatnana. I don't know about Brahman, you'll say. Okay? All the people in the world have some concept or the other about God. Brahman means the Brahat, the largest. Brahman means the supreme reality. The concept of the Lord is there for everybody in some way. There can be misconception, but the concept is there. Concept of Bhagavan, the God, the Lord is there. There is also another concept that the Lord has become myself, Atma. That also is there. That's all. Everywhere the Lord is there, He is also a part of, He is my inner self. That concept is also there. So understanding of Brahmatnana, the knowledge of Brahmatnana is there for somebody, everybody. It may not be very accurate, but some way it is there. You understand? Some way there is an understanding of God and higher reality is there for people. Then Brahman is also known as Atma, the self. The Lord is the self. That comes from the Upanishad teaching, I am Atma Brahma. So people have also a concept, understanding that myself is Brahman. Myself is God. Myself is Brahman. That understanding is there. But there can be misconception about myself. The myself, people can consider as various ways. Somebody can consider the self as Jivatma, which floats. Somebody can consider self as different from the body. Somebody can consider self as the same body. Somebody can say self goes from one body to other body. Somebody can say self is multiple, there are multiple selves are there. So there can be misconceptions about the self. So the purpose of Brahmasutra is not to give you new knowledge, what you don't have. The purpose of Brahmasutra is to remove the misconception what you have in the light of Veda and Upanishad. When the misconception is removed, the truth shines by itself. When the cloud is removed, cloud moves away, the sun shines by itself. The purpose of Brahmasutra teaching is to remove the misconception what you have. Brahmadnana shines by itself. Knowledge of self shines by itself when you remove the ignorance. This is the essential purpose. Atha, Ato, Brahma Jidnasa. The knower of Brahma becomes Brahman himself. Brahmavid, Brahmaiva Bhavati. By knowing Brahman, you become Brahman itself. This is not possible in the physical world. If I know about you, I cannot become you. The husband and wife, after getting married or before getting married, during honeymoon time or probably courtship time, when they are going around in the park dancing and singing and crying and fighting or whatever is that, going to the pub and malls together, each of them are trying to understand each other. What they don't know is throughout their life they can't understand each other. But still they make an attempt to understand each other. By understanding, knowing each other, whether the boy will become the girl, girl will become the boy. Huh? That's not possible. But speciality of Brahmadnana is by knowing Brahman, you become Brahman. Okay? This is not possible in any other matter. If I know science, I can't become science. If I know a girl, I can't become that girl. Right? Knowledge will not make change me into anything. Okay? But in case of Brahmadnana, if you know Brahman, you will become Brahman. Because to start with your Brahman, okay, due to momentary ignorance, you have forgotten your nature and you think you are something else. By removing that ignorance, you will realize who you are. Brahmadnana knowledge doesn't bring any special additional qualification to you. It removes the ignorance of what you have and you realize your own true nature. So Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati, it doesn't mean that he changes into something else. I listen to I listen to Brahmasutra, oh, I became something else. No. Then you didn't understand Brahmasutra. So what about ignorance got dropped and you realized who you are. This is like somebody who has drunk, alcoholic. When he is under the influence of the alcohol, he doesn't remember his own name, he doesn't remember his house, he doesn't remember where he came from. Somebody sees that fellow, takes pity on him and pours a bucket of water on his head. Then he comes out of the influence of the alcohol, then realizes what he is. All the while he is what he is. It is not that by pouring one bucket of water he has become something else. Okay? By drinking alcohol he has become something else also is not true. He has forgotten. Always he was what it is. Brahmasutra is like a bucket of water. So, it will remove the influence of alcohol called avidya, ignorance, with which you operate. Before, in the middle and after, there is nothing has happened to you, no change has happened to you. You are always the same Brahman. In between, there is a forgetfulness and behavior as something else. So that alone is removed through the teaching of Brahmasutra. Om Atato Brahma Jignasa Om. The purpose is clarified. Who has to study this Brahmasutra is clarified. Right? And subject matter of Brahmasutra is clarified. Any questions? So Brahmasutra has four chapters. Padas, they call padas. Okay. The first chapter of Brahmasutra is called Samanvaya Adhikarana. Samanvaya means there are different statements which appear to be contradictory in Upanishads. One Rishi says something and another Rishi says something else. So Samanvaya means look at both statements and see they mean same thing. What is the essential meaning of that? You see. Okay. That is called Samanvaya Adhikarana. The second chapter of Brahmasutra is called Avirodha. That means any oppositions, the various oppositions are possible, various other viewpoints are possible in what is told. So removal of that is called Avirodha. The third chapter of Brahmasutra is called Sadhana Pada. What are various kinds of sadhana which are prescribed in Upanishad? So the question comes to us, okay, Brahman is so many sadhanas are prescribed in Upanishads, so many sadhanas various teachers are teaching. What is finally I have to do for mukti? Right? So this is called sadhana pada. So it takes various sadhanas which are mentioned, takes out the essence of that, analyzes that and says this is the right way. Then finally, phala. The phala of a sadhana is mukti. So about mukti it describes. It brings a lot of clarity about mukti. What is mukti, what is not mukti, how one attains mukti, this is clarified. So first is Samanvaya, second is removal of opposition, the third is Sadhana, fourth is Phala. So these are the four chapters. So if you are qualified by this first sentence, Ato Brahma Jignasa, we can study for next 1.5 years on this subject. Any questions?
There was a concept that Brahmasutras are something today only what exactly it is. In fact, it was a big thing to read and understand.
It is very complex. Okay, it is not simple. Now what I summarized in one chapter, if you start looking at any subject, any book, it will be mind-boggling.
It's very dry.
Did I tell dryly in a very dry way?
No. When I tried reading it,
It's very complex because there are arguments, counter arguments, many things. Following logical thread is very complex. So I'll try to make it as simple for you as possible. The purpose is to make it simple for
People like us to understand.
people like me.
Us to understand. It's for you to make it simple, for people like us to understand.
It's okay.
We would not have touched it.
And for your kind information, some of you may be wearing Janivara, right? Thread. Right? So, men wear thread. The Janivara is called Brahmasutra. To remind you, at least sometime in your life you will study Brahmasutra. That is the Janivara. That has become a symbol of I am born in Brahmin community.
That concept is once you wear the Janivara, you are eligible for marriage.
It becomes a qualification for marriage also.
Marriage also.
So Brahmasutra is actually, there are 3 threads in that. Okay, these 3 threads represent Vedas. Okay, 4 Vedas are there, why 3 threads? Okay, Vedas are told as prose, poetry and verse. So these 3 together represent 3 Vedas. Like Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvaveda. Then there is not called Brahma Kantu. So these 3 Vedas represent the Brahman. Okay, the Brahma Sutra is put as a thread actually for it. Now women don't have to study because anyway they don't wear the thread. That's also not true. Okay. The men make a very serious commitment at the time of marriage. They will wear 2 threads. I will study Brahma Sutra and I will teach my wife also Brahma Sutra. So you
He is not near the Brahmasutra. He is not near the Brahmasutra where he will teach.
So that is the purpose of wearing 2 threads. So it's a compulsory for men and for women also. Any questions?
This is what is enlightenment.
Not like.
Basics, basics.
Otherwise, 60 got enlightened.
It's very important. Simply somebody asks you to wear it, you wear it. It tells you become a Brahmin by wearing it.
Okay, so we'll take up the first chapter from next class onwards. In India at that point of time, okay, Nalanda Takshasila University was there.
Yes,
There are people from about 100 countries used to come and study. The universities are so big. Bihar,
Behind.
okay. So they used to have an entrance test. There is a gatekeeper. Okay, he'll ask 10 questions. If you answer more than 8 questions, you can go inside. If you are go inside, you are qualified. The gatekeeper was so qualified. That was the entrance test in Takshasila University. Okay, this is Nalanda and Takshasila. Right, the principal of that time, right, he was master in something 108 subjects. Okay, the gatekeeper was the only authority for qualifying the students who can go inside or outside.
what must be his knowledge?
Right, and then when this the attackers, right, the foreign attackers, those who came to India, they always understood that the strength of India is the wisdom. So they always try to attack this wisdom, and they burnt this university. Okay, the amount of manuscripts were there in the university, it took only 6 months to burn. So that much of information was there. And you can understand the type of work which was going on there.
Cutting edge work.
Huh?
Cutting edge work.
Cutting edge work. Right? So that's why India was called Bharat. Bharat means, Bha means wisdom. Rat means one who is, the country which is engrossed in the wisdom is called Bharat. Interest in wisdom is called Bharat. So this whole fabric of this country was shaken by these invasions. The invaders always made sure that the system of education is destroyed. So that was the misfortune of India, right? So now that I have told the qualification of what you have to do required for studying Brahmasutra, next class onwards, you may decide to come.
We'll come with a certificate. Can you ask him questions?
Yeah, can ask me.
Can you ask him questions when you're studying there?
Oh yeah. All the people who are failed here will be there. So there will be a very huge class. And please understand, they have to study Brahma Sutra till the lifetime of Brahma, which is billions of years. I'm trying to make it simple for your lifetime.
Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare He Nata Narayana Vasudeva. Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare He Nata Narayana Vasudeva. He Lakshmi Narayana Vasudeva. He Lakshmi Narayana Vasudeva. He Rama Narayana Vasudeva. He Rama Narayana Vasudeva. Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare He Nata Narayana Vasudeva. Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare He Nata Narayana Vasudeva. He Satya Narayana Vasudeva. He Satya Narayana Vasudeva. He Surya Narayana Vasudeva. He Surya Narayana Vasudeva. Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare He Nata Narayana Vasudeva. Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare He Nata Narayana Vasudeva. He Adi Narayana Vasudeva. He Adi Narayana Vasudeva. He Moola Narayana Vasudeva. He Moola Narayana Vasudeva. Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare He Nata Narayana Vasudeva. Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare He Nata Narayana Vasudeva. He Nata Narayana Vasudeva. He Nata Narayana Vasudeva. He Nata Narayana Vasudeva. He Nata Narayana Vasudeva.
Sri Ganapati writes the Mahabharata, what Vyasa tells, right? So Ganapati, if you say, understand what is Ganapati? Ganapati is the enlightened wisdom. Okay? So the Mahabharata represents the story of human life. It has all the characteristics of all the conflicts, all the characters which are there in human life. Which means it represents human nature. The human nature written through an enlightened wisdom is Ganapati. Human nature written through a human mind becomes a pop novel. All these books, big books, right? What are story books you read? The human nature written through a human mind is these big story books, popular story books. Human nature written through an enlightened wisdom is Mahabharata. Enlightened wisdom is Ganesha.
So that's the clause, right? Like he will recite and he has to understand and write. Some,
Yeah, the story which is told,
yeah.
okay, this human story, when it goes through the enlightened wisdom, okay, there is no analysis. It just gets written. That is the nature of enlightened wisdom. How much time it takes for an enlightened person being to understand human nature? Any questions?
I have one more question.
You have one more question?
The primal self-awareness I am,
Ah.
is that also transient? Is that also mithya?
No. Then you are not speaking of the primal self-awareness.
No,
You are not speaking of primal self-awareness, which is transient. The real self-awareness is not at all transient.
Okay.
It's always there, eternally there.
Good. Good.
what was the question?
The primal self-awareness, I amness, is a transient.
Hmm.
The I amness is transient. The self-awareness is not transient. Self.
The self is not transient.
No, self is not transient. The self knows itself, that's also not transient.
Okay.
Okay, but it's not that I amness.
Yeah.
The I amness also is a feeling.
Feeling, yeah.
I'm not speaking of the feeling. The pre-amness feeling, a pre-feeling of before that I amness feeling. What is there? That is the real self.
Okay.
How to feel that? Nobody asked that.
You cannot feel that. You can be that. ज्योत से ज्योत जगावो,
ज्योत से ज्योत जगाओ,
सदगुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगावो,
सदगुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगाओ।
हे योगेश्वर,
हे योगेश्वर,
हे ज्ञानेश्वर,
हे ज्ञानेश्वर,
हे परमेश्वर,
हे परमेश्वर,
हे सर्वेश्वर,
हे सर्वेश्वर,
निज कृपा बरसाओ,
निज कृपा बरसाओ।
सदगुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगावो,
सदगुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगाओ।
हम बालक तेरे द्वार पे आए,
तेरे द्वार पे आए,
मंगल दरस दिखाओ,
मंगल दरस दिखाओ।
सदगुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगावो,
सदगुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगाओ।
शीश झुकाए,
शीश झुकाए,
करें तेरी आरती,
करें तेरी आरती।
प्रेम सुधा बरसावो,
प्रेम सुधा बरसाओ।
सदगुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगावो,
सदगुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगाओ।
सच्ची ज्योत
सच्ची ज्योत
जगे हृदय में,
जगे हृदय में,
सो हम नाद जगावो,
सोहम नाद जगाओ।
सदगुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगावो,
सदगुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगाओ।
जीवन आत्मा
जीवन आत्मा,
आनंद अविनाशी,
आनंद अविनाशी,
चरण न शरण लगावो,
शरण न शरण लगाओ।
सदगुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगावो,
सदगुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगाओ।
ज्योत से ज्योत जगावो,
ज्योत से ज्योत जगाओ।
ज्योत से ज्योत जगावो। जगाओ
ज्योत से ज्योत जगाओ
त्वमेव माता
त्वमेव माता
पिता त्वमेव
पिता त्वमेव
त्वमेव बन्धुश्च
त्वमेव बन्धुश्च
सखा त्वमेव
सखा त्वमेव
त्वमेव विद्या
त्वमेव विद्या
द्रविणं त्वमेव
द्रविणं त्वमेव
त्वमेव देव
त्वमेव देव
मम देवदेव
मम देव देव
कायेन वाचा
कायेन वाचा
मनसेन्द्रिया
मनसेन्द्रिया
बुद्ध्यात्मना वा
बुद्ध्यात्मना वा
प्रकृतेर्स्वभावात्
प्रकृते स्वभावात्
करोमि यद्यत्
करोमि यद्यत्
सकलं परस्मै
सकलं परस्मै
नारायणेति
नारायणेति
समर्पयामि
समर्पयामि
नारायणेति
नारायणेति
समर्पयामि
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 लोकाः समस्ताः
लोकाः समस्ताः
सुखिनो भवन्तु
सुखिनो भवन्तु
लोकाः समस्ताः
लोकाः समस्ताः
सुखिनो भवन्तु
सुखिनो भवन्तु
लोकाः समस्ताः
लोकाः समस्ताः
सुखिनो भवन्तु
सुखिनो भवन्तु
हरिः ओम्
हरिः ओम्
श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः
श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः
हरिः ओम्
हरिः ओम्
So next time when you come, somebody can buy. The beautiful books are made by a small stotra book is there. It's a Brahmasutra stotra, which is made by Sri Madhvacharya, Anubhashyadi. Anubhashya. It's like Vishnu Sahasranama, you can chant it. It gives the summary of Brahmasutra in very few, 10 minutes, 15 minutes chanting you can do. So next time when we do, next time when we conduct Brahmasutra class, 15 minutes of chanting we'll have. That book has to be, it will be available only in
Vedanta.
No, not Vedanta of course. This Krishnamata, Katrigupe, Vidyapita. It's a small book, this size. Only in Kannada it's available. I don't think it's available in other languages. So we'll be chanting that. Then we'll be doing Brahmasutra. Only difference is that Madhvacharya's Bhashya will be more of Bhakti oriented. My teaching will be more of Jnana. But I will be teaching what Madhvacharya has taught as well as Ramanujacharya has taught and Shankaracharya taught. 3 teachings will be combined. And then I'll add some my masala.